What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and we are finally bringing you guys some more footage on Not Yours, my 91 Notchback, which is pretty much going to turn into ours and WIRC's companion flagship car, where we're going to showcase everything that we can do. And we are starting to do some stuff. It's going to take us a while to put this car together, but we're kind of doing it in pieces as we can. We did the front suspension already, give you guys a refresher on that. You might have saw the last video, we kind of discussed this, but it's got strange front brakes, racecraft drop spindles. It's got like perfect front steering geometry. It has temporary strange 10-ways in the front with coilovers. That'll change in the future. But it has a Team Z Chrome Molly K member for motor plates. It has Motion Raceworks steering column, their new wheel, like I said, the brakes, manual Flaming River manual rack, poly bushings, and I did all this a few months ago. There's still a lot of work to do, but that is pretty much the front suspension setup aside from the coilovers. That'll change. And the brakes, the brake booster and master are going to change. But as far as the front end goes, that's pretty much wrapped up until we tube the front end. So we're going to end up cutting it at the frame rail basically. I'm not sure if I want to redo the front frame rail and leave it square, or if I want to just cut it and tube it. We'll see what I decide to do there. But in this video, you guys will see us doing a couple things with this. First I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the Team Z anti-roll bar out. I actually never even used it, and it's welded in really shitty. So I'm going to cut that out, post that for sale. So this will be available. I have the links. The only thing I don't have is the tabs for the axle, but we'll get rid of this. We're going to change the whole design back here. We're going to be redoing the whole rear suspension. Then we're going to hang the Fab 9 in here that matches finished, so we can confirm the control arm lengths that we should be selling with it. If you're running stock torque boxes upper and lower, we're going to kind of use this as a mock-up setting. Then we're going to get into the heavy lifting. The next thing we're going to do is cut the stock torque boxes out of this thing and put in a set of Marty Merilatt or Merilatt Racing upper and lower torque boxes. They're super sick. I have them. I've had them sitting here for a while now, so they've been waiting to go in the car. But once we put those in, then we'll be able to fab up the 9-inch to see if that changes control arm length at all, so we can ensure that when you're buying one of our housings, you know exactly what control arms that you need to purchase from us. But more importantly is that the rear suspension on this thing is going to be able to be dialed in perfectly and have the aftermarket torque boxes and have tons of capability to be slammed and correct control arm geometry. So today we're doing a lot of cutting, a lot of fabrication, and it's going to be a long day because we really got to knock this out pretty much today in order to stay on schedule with our customer cars this coming week. So let's get to it. All right, we are cruising. I got a lot done since I updated you guys. Sorry, I left you behind. But we have the anti-roll bar cut out and a Team Z anti-roll bar. That is removed. Frame rails are starting to get cleaned up for that. It's over there on the ground. Came out pretty clean. It should be able to be resold. And I started to kind of cut into the upper control arm bracket just to kind of get a feel for how that's going to go. It is not going to be fun, that's for sure. I made a mock-up set of control arms. These are what I think, working with Jace over in Pennsylvania on our other housing. These are the uppers that I sent him pretty much. So I got these just tacked together in case I have to modify. And then lowers are based off his Team Z lowers. They were a little too long. So we got that set up. I have a pile of misalignment spacers because I forgot to order the proper ones, so I got a jig to kind of just get me close. And of course I have the Fab 9 housing. This is our housing. And this is what we're going to be mocking up to get control arm lengths. We just want to confirm the control arm lengths in a stock torque box setup before we put the aftermarket torque boxes in it. So if you purchase a housing from us, we know exactly what you need to get to low ride heights, proper pinion angles, everything like that. So that's what we're going to be playing with here in a second. And I think that's it. That's where I'm at. I have to do a little bit of reaming on these holes, make sure everything works well, and make sure that everything slides in here nicely. And then we're going to throw this up in there in the next few minutes. All right, so we got the 9-inch mocked up. The control arms are finalized. Now it's time to rip out the stock torque boxes so we can get them mocked up with the Marty torque boxes. So we're having a torque box cutting dance party. That's what we're doing right now. And we're going to start disassembling this thing. I'm not sure if I showed you guys what the 9-inch looked in there. I think I was just too excited to work on the control arm lengths and make sure it all works. So here's some pictures of that if I didn't. But time to get to work. is what several hours of a cutting wheel, grinding, nasty shit that I do not give Matt Lindsay enough credit for, that he does this every day. Well, I'm happy that we're documenting the process it takes to get to making a stick shift competitive in all the local grudge classes, because this is a pain in the ass. And I mean, it's gonna be worth it. We got the 9-inch mocked up, you guys saw that. I don't know if I gave you video, but I gave you pictures at least. And we have the lower torque boxes cut out. And I talked to some people who get this shit done fast. This is the second set that we've done, and it is just a process. As you see, my face is wearing half of what was left. But the lower torque box cavities are open. So those are all removed. We got paint. So then what we'll do is we'll throw the lower torque box up in there, kind of mark where it's gonna get welded, and then just clean that area so the majority of it stays protected and painted. And then we will be knocking out the, turn your light off. There we go. And we'll be knocking out the upper to get the Merilatt upper boxes in it also. So once we get the uppers in, the lowers in, and we cut the floor out, we will be putting the rear end back in, because the most common torque box modification, I hope that anybody that talks to us, is you running the Marty Merilatt stuff. I mean, that is top of the line, top notch stuff. So that's what this is gonna have, and we're gonna also make sure that the control arm length that we got for the stock torque boxes also allows you all the adjustment options in the Merilatt boxes. And if not, we will have both those options available to you. So you can make sure that you have a control arm link that allows you to use not only all the adjustment in the housing, but all the adjustment in your torque boxes that you just spent a bazillion hours and dollars getting installed. So that is where we're at now. The rest of the video is going to be obviously putting the rest of the stuff in here, but that's it for tonight. We'll see you guys with an update next time we're here at the shop. All right guys, so I'm bringing you the final update for the notch project. As of right now, it's going to start getting crazy around here the next few weeks, so make sure you subscribe. We got a lot of projects lined up. March is going to be a huge, crazy month for us at the shop. But let's show you the goods real quick. So we got the Marty boxes installed. We actually did a little bit more than usual. We put a crossbar here, ran a bar to both sides of the body, tied the torque box into it, welded all that up. Welded it to the frame rail. I mean, these things are not going anywhere. They're not fully installed. I mean, they're like 90%. We still gotta weld some edges and you know, some final stuff. The uppers are done. They have a couple touch-up spots needed, but for the most part, they're completed. They just need paint, and they look ridiculously good. I mean, this thing is going to be some serious stuff back here. So we're really, really excited about this. Now the next thing we're gonna do is get the housing mocked up in here with our control arms. Make sure that the control arms are gonna work with stock torque boxes and Marty torque boxes, aside from the misalignment spacers. All right, so we just wrapped up mocking up the 9-inch with the Marty boxes in the car. And holy cow, is it far more complicated than we expected. We knew it was gonna be a lot harder than the stock torque boxes, obviously, but camera doesn't like those. But the Marty boxes look sweet. You guys saw the bottom brace, Dan painted everything. So it's looking great. But you guys can see how many adjustment holes the upper and lower control arms have. And then you pair that with how many adjustment holes are in the housing. And there's like literally 7,000 plus different combinations of upper control arm angles and lengths and instant center locations and all stuff that we're trying to get nailed down on this thing. This is the last bit of information we'll share with you on this project. But what we've learned is that no matter what control arm length you have, you're not going to be able to get all the adjustment out of it and still safely use the amount of thread on the heim joint that you need to have. So that's going to make this a little bit more difficult, because in order to make the proper length control arm, we need to have a range of anti-squat and instant center locations that we want to try to achieve, which means that we're going to probably have to spend a little bit of time on some like CAD software to figure out where it is, because just measuring from the most extreme longest situation and the shortest situation, it's impossible to reach those with the same control arm. So now we have to do a lot more, is that critical thinking? A lot more critical thinking?
Problem solving.
Problem solving? Same thing?
Guesstimate,
to figure out exactly what we're going to need to make the cars work with the suspension and rear end that we're putting in it. But that is the wrap up on this video and where we stand with this. For now, the 8.8 is probably just gonna go back in the car until we're finished deciding how wide we want this and what parts we're putting inside of it from Strange. And then this will be back to get some, more work done and be a full roller, I think.
With the 9-inch.
With the 9-inch, yeah. And brakes. The next goal is to have a complete 9-inch in it and the braking system done. And then it'll go away for like 4 more months until we decide it's time to work on it again. Or that there's a couple dollars to spend on it.
In 1 month.
Right. It's way too much. We still have to build an EcoBoost Ranger. It's like 3 weeks away from being nice, and Dan's car doesn't even run, so we gotta fix that. And here we are working on a car that's never gonna run anyway.
The red one.
Yeah, and the red car's gotta come in for repair. Oh, and on top of that, we have to get enough projects in and out that we can even afford to do any of this stuff. So we have that going. Yeah, right. So on that note, we have tons of opening available in early spring that would be happy to get you in here for both safety chassis upgrades and any other performance modifications you may need. But I'm happy to bring you our first Coyote project, like engine work actual, on the channel. We've obviously done Coyote stuff in the past, but this is the first one we're actually digging into while having the YouTube channel. So we are pretty deep already. So this is a nitrous Coyote stick shift car. He races in the banger class at all the local no prep events. Hopefully we'll be lining up against him a couple times this year with the red car. But it is pretty good. He's running pretty good with it. And we are doing billet oil pump gears, billet timing gear, and then just obviously regasking and putting it back together. We started this morning, and we were just about ellipsing the halfway point. These are all customer supplied parts, and he decided to go with MMR gears. So here's the billet MMR gears. Here's the stock ones that came out of it. If you are not aware or big into the Coyote game, these are known for cracking, breaking. Same with the timing set. So he's going to be putting a 2-step on this thing, and that is when they're definitely trying to break those things off. So now he'll be prepared to do that. It looks like the 2-step is actually mounted. It's just not hooked up to anything yet. So I'm going to clean up some of the mess that we just did from pulling the oil pump off, and we're going to start reassembly on this thing. And then we'll show you guys it running. I don't think you guys really want to see us put it all back together. We gotta go through the timing sequence and all that fun stuff that we just had to do to take it apart. And yeah, lots of stuff going on.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Danny, you gonna get rid of the Cobra for a Coyote?
No.
No? Come on, man. I thought you were having a good time.
I am.
Just not that good a time?
No, I'm having a good time. But I won't trade for a Coyote.
Oh. Maybe the next box project we do, we should get a Coyote F-150 with a VMP on it. Have a nice $25,000 ship box. Just kidding, we're not doing that. All right, anyway, we're going back to work. What better way to wrap up today's video, or this last couple days video, with starting the project that we got done in one day. Woo. Happy. Your enthusiasm is just all over your face right now. You got a little bit under your chin. A little enthusiasm.
Oh. So we put MMR crank sprocket and billet oil pump gears. MMR billet oil pump gears and billet crank sprocket. I don't know why I'm going all over the place. I am starving. Just like that. Good? All right, well, she runs. Sounds like she's got oil pressure, since we have no gauge to check. But overall, very successful. Got it done in whatever. We started around like lunchtime, about like 8 o'clock or so, with a little lunch break in between and whatnot. Very happy about that.
2.5 hour lunch break.
We had to run around and do a couple things. Couldn't be more excited about how fast that went, how quickly that went, I guess. Got it in and out. Got it in on what, Sunday or so. Didn't work on it yesterday. Put it on the lift today. Got cranking on it and she's back together. So should be ready. Pardon?
We have openings before spring.
And we have some openings before spring, and they're filling up rather quickly, that is for sure, because this month is gonna be a fiasco. But we couldn't be happier with all this. Thanks, David, for bringing it over, and hopefully you enjoy it. So, like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.